Okay, hello, good morning, everybody. I think we're live. Um, Mr. Eddie, if there's any technical difficulties, please let me know. But I think we may be live. Hello, good morning, everybody. My name is Gabriel Garcia. I am the Community Outreach Coordinator for Monica's House and Maggie's House, also known as the Children's Advocacy Centers of Cameron and Willacy County. So we're here today on our "What's Your Superpower Wednesday" kind of mini series of events and webinars that we're going to be doing on a weekly basis. And the point of this series is to kind of highlight the different nonprofits, local nonprofits of our area who service children, underprivileged, or who are going through, some sort of difficulty in their life, and basically trying to highlight how we do that, what we do, and how we service these children and their families. So I kind of want to get started with. I believe we can see Mr. Joseph Albury here on the screen. He is with us from Sunny Glen, and we're gonna kind of get to know him a little bit better on this series. And he'll be speaking to us a little bit in a bit after I speak to you guys just a little bit about what we do, and he'll share a little bit about what they do and how they service our community over there at Sunny Glen, and the amazing things that they're doing for the children and for our community. But first, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about our agency, which is Monica's House and Maggie's House. For those of you who may not know what we do at Monica's House and Maggie's House, we are a children's advocacy center. There are about 60, 70 children's advocacy centers all over Texas. And in fact, they are nationwide as well. We are a one of 60 or 70 children's advocacy centers all over Texas under the Children's Advocacy Centers of Texas. Our headquarters is in Austin, Texas. That's where we do most of our trainings. And so we serve the Cameron and Willacy County areas. And we serve the children within those areas and the families within those areas as well. So, what we do, we're a nonprofit agency that works with child abuse victims and their families. And so what happens is when an investigation of child abuse is opened by either Child Protective Services, law enforcement, anybody who's investigating a child abuse case, whether it's for physical abuse, sexual abuse, neglect, or if a child witnesses a certain crime, what happens is once the investigation is opened by one of those entities, they will reach out to our Children's Advocacy Center and schedule what's known as a forensic interview. And that interview is conducted by one of our staff members in house. And that interview is also recorded and supplied to the investigators to assist them with their investigation as it continues. And so that is the main service that we do provide, but we also provide an array of other services. We provide family advocacy, which is assisting our supportive families in the process that they are going through, which is, the process of a child abuse case, which can be very daunting to a family. And so our advocacies introduce the family and introduce the child to this new environment that they may find themselves in. Basically, our advocates are the first person that the child and the family sees when they come to our facility. So it's a very huge task that they do undertake. They provide case management, so managing the case of the family and the child, also providing the family with community resources, things like that that may help them as they continue through this process. We also provide free therapy for the families and for the children that we see. This therapy, obviously, these families are going through a very tough time during this child abuse investigation process. So we're very, very fortunate that we're able to provide these free therapy sessions to the child and to their families, by ways of funding through, amazing groups like United Way and other, state funders that were able to provide this huge service for these families free of charge. We also provide educational services, which is, myself, I head out to the school districts all throughout Cameron and Willacy County and try to educate young children on personal safety and how to avoid abusive relationships and abusive environments in their life, and kind of give them a different perspective on what may be happening to them, because a lot of these children may not understand or may not know an abusive environment when they're in it. A lot of these children unfortunately grow up in an abusive environment, so they may not know what is happening to them is uncomfortable and is wrong. So the education is valuable to them, and so I provide that education at the lower levels, at the elementary school levels, ages about 6 to 12. That's where our statistics have told us in the past that the majority of our outcries do come from, is that age range of 6 to 12. Now, we're potentially going to be educating, the higher grade levels, teenagers and young adults, things like that, on a various amounts of, information regarding being taken advantage of, even at their age level, whether it's, dating violence, or sharing inappropriate information, whether it's through, social media, via texting. Online solicitation is very big at that age level. So we're gearing towards educating the higher age levels as well. But to give you a better idea of what we do as an agency and kind of what Monica's House and Maggie's House is all about, I do get, obviously, we get the question of, where do the names come from, Monica's House and Maggie's House? Well, Monica's House was actually our first agency that we opened up about 22, going on 23 years now. That's how long our agency has been established here. And Monica's House first opened up because unfortunately there was a child death, and this was Monica Castillo. She was 4 years old when she passed away, unfortunately, in 1996. And so when Monica Castillo passed away, she was only 4 years old at the time. Now she passed away due to child abuse, of physical and sexual abuse, and by the hands of her own mother at the time. Now, when she passed away, obviously it shook our community, and a lot of community members, leaders got together and wanted to open up a agency where maybe we can avoid this type of unfortunate event, tragedy happening in the future. So they did their research and they realized that children's advocacy centers were slowly popping up around the nation and around in Texas. So they invested and they decided to open up a children's advocacy center, the first children's advocacy center here at the Rio Grande Valley, and they named it Monica's House after Monica Castillo. Now that was the house opened up in 1998. Now, unfortunately, in that same year, 1998, there was another child of fatality, and that was the death of Maggie Dittman. Now, she was only 2 years old. And Maggie Dittman unfortunately passed away due to shaken baby syndrome at the hands of her own mother. I mean, sorry, at the hands of her own babysitter at the time. Now, Maggie's parents, Mrs. Dittman and Mr. Dittman, have been huge advocates of our agency for the past, 22 years, assisting us in fundraising, assisting us with different events and things like that. Obviously, this was a major tragedy that took place in their life, but they overcame that tragedy by channeling, their sadness and their anger over the death of their own child, to opening up Maggie's House, and now Maggie's House resides in Harlingen, Texas. And we need both houses. We need Maggie's house in Harlingen, and we need Monica's house in Brownsville in order to cover as much ground as we do. We see about 2,000 children a year regularly for interviews. And obviously, 2020, the year 2020 was a lot different. We saw about half of that number, maybe even less. And a lot of that has to do with the pandemic, and unfortunately a lot of children are not coming forward, or just don't have the opportunity to come forward. A lot of children are not at schools right now. They're doing kind of hybrid learning, so a lot of them are still at home, and unfortunately some of them may be in an abusive environment right now. 90% of the cases that we see are the perpetrators are unfortunately usually a family member or somebody who has access to these children. So when they're at home and they're not at school, they don't have that outlet. They don't have that opportunity to speak to a trusted adult like teachers, counselors, principals, security guards at school, school nurses, who make up, a very large number, the majority of our reports, which come from, schools and that safe environment. So our numbers are little are still steady. We still are interviewing. The pandemic did not stop us from continuing our services. As soon as the health crisis hit, we adapted and we continued to interview children, first, through telemedicine and via, Zoom and other channels and other platforms. And we continued our therapy services via virtual. But we are also, still interviewing children, some on site, depending on, the severity of the cases and things like that. But we are still providing, and we have been providing services to our community ever since the pandemic hit. So with that being said, I do want to show you guys a short clip that our agency, CAC Texas, has put together for us, that helps us kind of understand the model of the children's advocacy centers as a whole. I'm not sure I can hear it from my end. Okay, so I hope that you all were able to hear that. But if not, you can always visit the CACTexas.org website. They have that information right there, or you can reach out to me. I am a phone call away. If you ever need any information regarding our agency or any of the services that we provide, um, my phone number is 956-204-9961. And if you have any agencies, businesses, anything like that, who would like more information on our agency and the services that we provide, or what I do as far as the education when it comes to young students, things like that, I am more than happy to share that information, and you can always reach out to me. My email is also ggarcia at caccwc.org, and you can always reach out to me, and and just ask me any questions. I'm always willing to speak to anybody and everybody who's willing to listen to us and hear what our agency has to say. And the month of April, it being Child Abuse Prevention Month, is a very important month to us, and it's a very important month to us as an agency because not often do we speak to the community about this issue, about the child abuse issue that's going on in our community. Whether people, individuals, like to speak about it or not, we understand that it's a taboo subject and it's an uncomfortable subject for some individuals to hear and to talk about. But this month of April highlights how important and how crucial uh, the conversation is around child abuse, because unfortunately, child abuse does not take a day off. It does not, it's not seasonal. It doesn't always, it doesn't only occur during the summer, or it doesn't only occur during holidays, things like that. It's year round. And for us, it's year round. And for us, the month of April is important because we feel more liberated to speak to our community about it, and to speak candidly about it, which is needed. um, you know we need our community to understand that this is a issue that's not going away. And if we tend to leave the conversation in the dark, we're also leaving those children in the dark as well, with that conversation that we don't want to have. And I can speak only through experience, that having presented to young children at that age level, at that elementary level, and having a child come up to me after my presentations and make an outcry of physical abuse, of sexual abuse to me in that moment, it reiterates how much this conversation needs to be had, whether we want to or not, because that child heard me speaking about this uncomfortable subject, and it matched up with whatever she or he was going through in their life. And it didn't click for them until they heard it from an outsider, from a different perspective. So it kind of reevaluates that. I mean, it kind of reiterates that this conversation does need to be had on many levels. And coming from adults, it helps these children understand that this is something that is not okay. It's not comfortable. It's not a normal environment for them to be in, and they should speak up about it. So this conversation does need to be had. And if any of you, or if you know anybody, please like and share all of this information. These videos will be up, so please share them as much as possible with anybody that you know. and let's have the conversation, especially this month. And of course, our agency, we rely heavily on our community. We rely heavily on individuals like all of you to assist us in providing these services. We're a relatively small agency for the services that we provide. We're a staff of about, I want to say, about 16 maybe right now, around there. We have a pretty small staff for the two houses that we service out of, and funding, local funding, federal funding, state funding goes a long way in helping us. But when it comes to local funding in our community and standing up for our agency and our mission and what we're trying to do for these children, it goes a long way. Unfortunately, 2020 took a huge hit for all of our nonprofit agencies, including Sunny Glen, who's going to be coming up right now. Um, it takes a toll on, on our funding and how we're able to serve these children and these families. So absolutely anything helps. You can always reach out to us if you're willing to donate, or there's a graphic right there in the corner where we're on Cash App now, because of just the fact that we're in need of funding. And especially in the month of April, we're hoping that the fundraisers that we had to cancel in 2020 can be made up this month. We do have a goal that we're trying to reach of about, I think it's 10,000 as far as general funding goes, to assist us in our education and our awareness, because it does take funds to get out there and to spread as much of this message as possible. Unfortunately, it does take funds sometimes. So absolutely anything helps. So I want to, let's see, I think we're good on time. I do want to bring in Sunny Glen to kind of explain their role in our community and what they do. And I do want to present here Mr. Joseph Albury from Sunny Glen Children's Home, and I will pass it over to you, Mr. Albury, and just tell the community what you guys do.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Gabe. We really appreciate the invite today. It means a lot to us, and especially this month with April being Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month. We're so happy to partner up with our organizations here throughout the Rio Grande Valley that do so much for the kids down here. My name is Joseph Albury. I'm in charge of fund development at Sunny Glen Children's Home. Unfortunately, it's not fun development; it's fund development. Um, and like Gabe said earlier, it takes money for us to fulfill our missions down here. And so my job is to network with the community and try to bring those funds in to help our kids and our organization and let us be successful in what we do. To give you a little bit of background on Sunny Glen Children's Home, we've been around for about 85 years. We started in San Juan with 6 kids and 85 years ago, and now we're at a 35-acre campus in San Benito. Uh, in the last 85 years, we've helped almost 8,000 kids who've come through our doors and through our gates. So we've been very blessed to be able to help so many kids. I do have a little PowerPoint that I'm going to share with you guys. Don't worry, it's not one that's going to take up a lot of time and be your normal boring PowerPoint. So give me a second while I share my screen here. Okay, well, look at that. All right. So like I said, we were established in 1936 with 6 children near La Feria, close to San Juan, actually. Uh, and over the last 85 years, we've helped almost 8,000 kids who've come through our campus. We've been very blessed. And what our goal is after these kids have made that outcry for help, after places like Monica's house and Maggie's house have helped them out, where do these kids go? And we're one of the options. Originally, we were started like your traditional orphanage that you would see, in the 1930s. That's no longer the platform that you see in the state of Texas. And a lot of times you're seeing our kids are coming to us and they've been victims of severe abuse and trauma. And so we're there just to love them to give them a loving home and to help serve their physical and emotional needs. But also, an important part of our mission is to service their spiritual needs as well. And we want to inspire them to make sure that they're focusing on these things. Now, as you know, there is a separation of church and state. We do not force any child that comes through our doors to accept any type of religious instruction, but we give them that option. And we found that the vast majority of them are receptive to it and they like receiving it. And it helps them. It gives these kids who've been through so much hurt the opportunity to see that not only do people want to love them, but there's a greater power that loves them as well. And so that's one of the things we do is we help them respond to life's challenges, and we use that to do it. Right now in Texas, and this has changed because of COVID, so I apologize that it may not be completely accurate, but there's about 30,000 kids in the foster care system in Texas. And you think that's a huge number. How does anybody tackle that? Well, the way we do it is one child at a time. If we can help one kid be successful in life and navigate the trauma that they face, we've done our job. There's a lot of things that we are out there that we're able to do. Our kids come to us, they may have emotional damage, and we have to provide that counseling for them. We provide that on our campus. We make sure our kids get to school every day. Usually they go to San Benito schools. Right now they're all doing at-home training on our campus and classroom instruction with the hybrid model. But one of the big things for us is making sure that we reinforce to these children that their situation and their circumstances does not determine their value as a person. It's very important for us to realize that regardless of the situation they're in, regardless of the circumstances that led them to be there, through no choice of their own, we are there to make sure that they know they're loved. So what can you do to help us? You can come by and visit our campus. You can volunteer. Tell your friends and family about us. The kids love to receive messages and cards. We're on social media on Facebook and Instagram. We do on our website at sunnyglen.org have the ability to provide for monthly donations. And we also have regular fundraising efforts and events that we do. And also a big part of our support has come from people leaving us lasting donations in their will. And lastly, big way you can help us is praying for our kids, which is something that's very important to us. We want to talk about, Gabe talked a little bit about fundraising. We do have this fun event coming up next week on Friday, April 16th. It's our first online video trivia fundraiser night. It'll be a trivia contest like you may see at your pub or anything like that. But you get your team together and compete. And we've got some great technology out there that'll allow you to stream along on Zoom and watch it and do your answers on your smartphone at the same time while you're competing. So you'll be able to keep track of where you're scoring against your competitors and your friends, and you can get some bragging rights. And at the same time, you're helping raise funds for our children. Like Gabe said, COVID was very detrimental to a lot of nonprofits. And we've all had to kind of get creative on events that we can do to help our kids. And so every dollar that we raise from this is going right back to our kids. And one thing I did really want to stress on Sunny Glen is some of our new initiatives and what we've got coming up. And what we're very proud is our second campus that we've opened up in Harlingen, which is the Monty and Amy Allen House. And it's our supervised independent living center. Now you may be saying, what is a supervised independent living center? Well, the supervised independent living center is basically where our kids go once they've aged out of the foster care system. An unacceptably high percentage of foster kids become homeless within the first 18 months of leaving the foster care system in Texas. It's a problem, and we wanted to help find a solution for it. We were approached by some donors who wanted to do something for us, and they had this idea, and they worked with our executive team. And then one of the things they did was come up with this assisted living center. So when our kids turn 18 and they're released from foster care, where do they go? Well, they can apply to come live with us at the Supervised Independent Living Center. It's a beautiful 3,000 square foot apartment located in downtown Harlingen on the second floor of a 100-year-old building. While I talk, I'm going to share a video um, of what it looks like on the inside, so you guys can get a little bit better idea. But they go through an application process just like anybody else, and that's the wrong one. They go through an application process just like anybody else, and while they're there, they have their own bedrooms, they have their own bathrooms. They're basically young adults who are living on their own. They do have 24-hour on-site assistance. These kids don't know how to fill out job applications a lot of time. They don't know how to apply for college. Foster kids are provided free financial aid, and most of their tuition and books is usually covered by the state of Texas, but they have to have somebody assist them to be able to fill those forms out. And so that's what we're there for. We're there to give them that opportunity to learn what they need to do to be successful in life as adults. The residents are required to either be working full time, part time, or enrolled in some type of higher education. That could be a certificate program for something like AC or electrical work. It could be a vocational degree, or it could be your full bachelor's degree. Um, we will have the ability to care for up to 10 young adults at a time. Like I said, this is a massive facility right downtown. They have their own entertainment room, offices, computer rooms. All utilities will be paid for these young adults that are living there. It's basically a dorm for them. Industrial appliances, industrial kitchen. It's a remarkable facility, and it's something that we definitely need your help. And one of the coolest things about it is it being a 100-year-old building and 2 floors. Downstairs on the first floor of the facility, we have our new thrift store, which is Vintage on Jackson. This thrift store provides revenue and funds to help support Sunny Glen and the Supervised Independent Living Center. In addition to that, residents of the Allen House will have the opportunity to work there to earn extra money and also to learn those valuable life skills such as customer service, dealing with cash, working with banks on filling out deposits, making deposits, doing withdrawals, balancing a cash register. These are all important life skills that people need to know. Any of us that have worked with the general public know that it can be a shock sometimes when you're dealing with people. So it's something that we're super excited about, and we're just ecstatic that we have the opportunity to share this with our kids. So really, that's kind of all I have right now. Again, we're here to provide a loving home for our children, let them know that their life has value regardless of their circumstances, and help shepherd them through rough waters and get them to be self sufficient, productive adults in our society. Um, with that being said, any questions or concerns anybody has, I'll be happy to address them now. If not, I'll hand it back over to you, Gabe.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Mr. Albury. And we're definitely going to be taking questions. If you guys have absolutely any questions for either agency or any, comments or anything like that, please feel free. I do want to, mention, a couple of events that I forgot to mention on our end. As far as what we have going on, I think we have the graphics for um, our visual for Willacy County will be this coming April 8th at 6 p.m. So we're going to have a proclamation and dedication ceremony. That'll be all, on Facebook live stream, just like, a lot of things this year are streaming and virtual, but which is great because we're trying to stay safe. And, sometimes we reach a larger community because everybody's on the internet now. So many kids are on the internet by default, unfortunately. So we're gonna have that ceremony coming up for Willacy County, because we do also serve Willacy County, and it's a great county with some great partners up there that are assisting us with these events and things like that. So that will be April 8th. We also have on April 9th we have, yes, we have our Harlingen ceremony and vigil. That will be on April 9th at 5:30 as well. All of it will be live stream. Again, use the hashtag I stand up for kids to support all of our partners and all of our agencies. That will be happening on April 9th at 5:30 p.m. And that will be our dedication to Harlingen. And we also have coming up a fundraiser. Peter Piper has partnered with us for Together for a Good Cause. 15% of the will go as a donation from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Thursday, April 8th. So that will be in Brownsville at the Brownsville location on April 8th from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. If you're eating there, 15% will go as a donation for Monica Sauce and Maggie Sauce to support us and our mission and the children and the families that we serve. So, eat for a good cause. And of course, we're also having the same Peter Piper that will be in Harlingen as well on the same day. So whether you're in Brownsville or in Harlingen, if you're eating at Peter Piper between 11 a.m. and 9 p.m., make sure to mention Monica's House and Maggie's House, and 15% of your of what you spend will go to our agency to help us as well. So and our hosts who are helping us today, the RGV Strong platform will also be hosting a Friends trivia night on their RGV Strong page, and that will be on the 24th of April as well. And so I'm not sure if they have a graphic to go with it, but I'm sure you can visit their page at RGV Strong and make sure to support them as well, because they do a lot of really fun stuff for really good causes and just fun stuff in general. And obviously, they're great people over there. Eddie is a huge supporter of our mission and of all of our missions, and helping us get the word out as much as possible, especially during this month. So please, support all of these platforms, support all of these businesses, agencies that have been helping us during this month of April. Because again, this is a very important month, and it allows us to get our word out as much as possible. But again, what we're doing is year round, day and night. We work with these children and we work with these families to provide a better situation and a better a better environment for them as a community. And we cannot do it alone. We need our community support. So that is what all of this is all about. So again, you know yes, thank you, Debbie. A wish list of items that we need, or that Sunny Glenn needs. I don't know if Mr. Albury, do you have anything of that sort that you would like to share with the community?
I would say that one thing I think probably both of our agencies need is is support from the community in any way, donations, volunteering, however. But one specific item I know that we always need is backpacks and
Mhm.
duffel bags. And the reason for that is a lot of times kids are coming to us or coming to the Children's Advocacy Center in the middle of the night, and they're leaving their home with nothing, um, just the clothes on their back. And when they leave our organization, we want them to have something that's theirs they can take with them. So backpacks and duffel bags are huge, because the clothes that we provide, or CPS provides, or the Children's Advocacy Center provides them, or whatever items they have a way to take that with them, so they're not leaving with a garbage bag full of stuff.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I think, that goes a long way. Some people don't really consider it and don't think about that, but I think it goes a long way to have, that storage. And because also, these kids and these children, they want something to feel like their own. And to have that is very, very, very crucial and very important. As far as our agency, we take all sorts of donations, whether it's um, school supplies is very big because unfortunately a lot of our kids, they're going through some really tough times, and school supplies can sometimes be pretty expensive for these families and things like that. So we always take school supplies, gas cards, things like that for these families. They're doing a lot of driving during this unfortunate process when it comes to investigations and things like that. So those always go a long way. We do take volunteers on a normal basis. We take volunteers. Now it's a bit different. It's a bit difficult to take on volunteers because we're trying to follow CDC guidelines. So we're trying to limit the amount of people that we have at our agency and at our facilities at one time. But there's always different avenues that you can volunteer and different modes that you can volunteer for our agency. So, if you ever needed to do that, you can always reach out to our agency. Our phone number for our San Benito office is 956-361-3313. That is our main office. And so you can reach out to them, and if you need to get a hold of me, again, my number is 956-204-9961. And I believe we have another question from Miss Debbie for Mr. Albury.
Support groups for children. We do have support groups for our children of various types, the children that are on our campus. Um, like Gabe said, trying to follow CDC guidelines, it makes it a little bit difficult for volunteers to come out and do some of the things they've done in the past. As things have loosened up, as all of our staff has become vaccinated, we have had the opportunity. Our kids are doing some equestrian groups now, where they're not riding horses, but they're working with horses. And that's very calming and soothing to children to work with animals like that, which we've been blessed to have a volunteer and a donor step up and help our kids with that. And then in addition to that, we do have religious organizations through the Church of Christ that come out and mentor to our children. But we don't have a support group for children outside of our organization, but we do have counseling available for all of our children, that we do meet in group environments for them.
Yeah, no, that's incredibly useful information. I'm trying to go through the comments. Sorry. Can we do a luggage drive? How can we help?
Well, I would say for our end, absolutely. We backpacks and tote bags are huge. That's one, because they're small and easy for us to store when we don't have kids that need them at that exact moment. Um, but yeah, I mean, those are things they will get used. And we do have some donors out there who when they do they collect those items for us because we always need them. The other thing that they'll include in them a lot of time is linens, clean new linens. And like Gabe said, there's these kids want to have something of their own, and they come to our campus, and a lot of times, they're released back to families, to their families, which family reunification is a great thing, but sometimes they're returning to a home where they don't have sheets. They don't have beds to sleep on. So for us, that's one of the things we do like to include is a fresh set of new linens for these kids to take with them, that they put in their duffel bag. So yeah, anything you guys could do on that, we would love the support. One nice thing is organizations down here in Cameron County are excellent about working with each other. So a lot of times, like Easter, we got it flooded with Easter baskets, for our kids, which is great. But when that happens, we have too many. We start calling up our partners, and other organizations like, do you guys need Easter baskets? Do you guys need sheets? Do you guys need toys at Christmas? We've got, 20 kids and we've got 800 toys, so it's one of those things. We all work very well together and we try to help each other. So don't feel that, oh, we're giving too much, because we will put it to use. I know that Gabe's organization does when they have extra stuff. They reach out to members of the community. Blue Sunday does the same thing. A lot of great organizations down here. At the end of the day, all we want to do is help the kids.
Awesome. Well, yeah, speaking of Blue Sunday, I want to announce to everybody that, we are doing this mini series weekly, every Wednesday. What's your Superpower Wednesday? And so join us here again, same time next week, next Wednesday. We do have the Health and Human Services that will be speaking to us and sharing what they, provide for our community and what they do, the child care licensing and Blue Sunday. So stay tuned for so many amazing, amazing organizations, just like Sunny Glenn, who just they work in day out every single day, 365 days out of the year, working for these children and working for the community in general, just trying uh, to to make our community a little bit safer and better than when we found it. So that's our goal. It's just to support our community and support anybody who's willing to help us, and that's all of you who are watching this and who are going to share it. Our community is stronger when we're together, and just like Mr. Albury was saying, us as agencies, us as partners, we always try to help each other. We always try to keep our phone numbers in each other's phone numbers in our phones, and reach out to each other whenever we can, whenever we have extra things, or whenever we can refer somebody to one of these agencies that may need help, from Sunny Glen or Blue Sunday, or any other agency that's been helping us. So just try to keep that in mind. And I just want to thank all of you all for being here and for watching these videos and for liking and for sharing not only our page on Monica's House and Maggie's House, but Sunny Glen's page as well. RGV Strong for helping us facilitate this and doing such a good job. And you can see my dog in the background right there. Of course, this whole working from home sometimes can get a little bit funny. Unfortunately, the office, like I said, CDC guidelines, we're trying to keep it safe there at the office. So I do my presentations from home, and sometimes these kids, they'll see, I try to keep my dog in the background, but sometimes he'll poke out and they'll just get a real excitement out of him. He likes to say hello sometimes. So, but no, thank you all so much again for being such an amazing community and helping us out. And again, RGB Strong, go give them a like, go give them a share. And again, just keep all of us in mind when you're sharing all of this content. But I just want to say thank you all again, and we will see you next Wednesday. So thank you again, Mr. Albury.
Thank you guys. Have a great day.